Yeah, I guess the workshop that I was responsible for was looking at the envelope, the environment in which all of these other features can actually operate effectively and successfully to create a sustainable Myplace Centre. And so we were looking at issues from how do you make sure you have a good relationship with your contractor? How do you work out who's going to deal with disputes? What are the roles and responsibilities in that area? How do you manage the facility that emerges from the Myplace build effectively so that you're not concentrating so much on running the programme and the building falls down around your ears? Through to how do you cope with ensuring you've got the right structure, legal governance structure that ensures that the right people are engaged in that and remain active in that engagement, because that I suspect a number of us have experienced, where you start off with a very enthusiastic group of partners and over a period of time you finish up with fewer and fewer people in the room. And we began to touch towards the end of the discussion on the role for young people, which I want to come back to in a second. And we did talk about that. We talked a lot, a huge amount about that, and rightly so, because it's clearly a very, very big issue. It's potentially a huge minefield. And I think all three workshops got a lot out of the contribution from the Batman, who gave us some top tax tips as we went through the workshop. But I think the key issues that came out, or the solutions in a sense that came out, were about being clear that the form follows the function, that you're very clear what it is you're trying to achieve with your Myplace Centre before you start thinking about the kind of structure that will support that. And you then get best advice early, and not just from one source, about all the key features of that. So what are your financial structures, what are your legal structures, who sits on which board, what kind of board do you have? All of those things need to be thought out very carefully and constantly checked against why are we doing this. And in one particular workshop we did spend an awful lot of time talking about ways to engage young people and reminding ourselves constantly that these centres are about engaging young people, not just in activity, but in seeing them through into the future. And so we spent an awful lot of time discussing how you can engage legally and technically young people in the centres, so that that was seen within the context of a much wider participation strategy, and that the centres were more likely to be successful long term, particularly with increasing footfall and reducing budgets, if young people were playing major parts in the design and delivery of activities and in managing the resource.
Okay, that's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for facilitating those workshops for us. I'm sure that they have been valuable to all participants, and as we move forward, let's see what happens A, with the rest of the conference, and then B, into the future, hopefully for some kind of network that will help us to iron out some of these issues in the longer term. Thank you.